Got it. Number one thing to do, trust. So what is the goal of your content? The goal of your content is to build trust with your audience. And who's your ideal customer? It would be pharmacies, clinicians.
Shoes providers, any sort of med spa owners, etc.
Got it. So you're doing B2B. So B2B, you're doing B2B and you're doing trust. Two things. So of course, number one is you need your brand to be big. People go like, well, what's the reason why we even go to university? Because we want that on our certificate, on our what's it called, portfolio. We want that credential, and the reason why is because people know that name. Number one is you need to build those brand associations, and you need to become a big enough name that people care about you. So that's number one. You need to give people that awareness that you are the official thing. And basically the way you do that is just by being everywhere. And that's the whole reason why, certain brands, exactly, omnipresence. Like that's the reason why, Apple spends $1 million on ads or on videos that don't actually lead to conversions, but that's a brand play because people see that. And when people see Apple everywhere, then they just associate Apple with the best, being the best, right? Being the go-to source.
So we do that by just the ads.
Two things. One is ads. Yes, ads work. But number two is organic. Brand building content. Number two is that for you to come off as not spammy and not scandalous, you need to show trust and you need to build trust. How do you build trust? Two ways. One is you build goodwill with your audience. So you give value to your audience. So which you're already starting to do, which is a great thing, but you need to do more of. You need to give them good value where they can get some sort of takeaway. There's some sort of small action which they take. And after they take that small action, they get a positive outcome. They trust you. Or number two could be, especially if you're kind of in a info space-ish, not that you're selling a course, but you're in an education space. You're doing educate. You're a bit of info education. What you can do to come off as not scammy is to actually give a lot of that goodwill, give a lot of that value away for free. And you do that in exchange for information. So you can create PDFs, you can create videos, you can create resources that people can take and they get a snippet. They get a bite-sized pieces of information. And the best way to do this is to give stuff that people will actually pay for. So if someone would actually pay like $50 for this or like $100 for this, because it took a bunch of time and effort to create this resource, that is how you build really, really strong trust. And then that trust, once you gauge that trust and you build that relationship, that is where you don't come off as scammy when you say, buy my credential. Because it's like, you already gave a shit ton of value. And then now you're just saying like, hey, if you want, it's just the same way as how Google has a lot of free resources, free courses that they give away. But then you do have to like pay for certain products or you need to pay for certain things. But they do give a lot of free stuff away. And you maybe pay just for the certificate, you see? They have those things online, right? About that. So a lot of different companies have that as well, but they give all of this info away and then they pay for the credential. So that is one way you can go about this, right? Because at the end of the day, people are paying you for the credential. Two things, just to recap. Number one is you want to build your brand and build that omnipresence. And the way you do that is by creating more content and better content first. And then you also run ads on that. So you don't only rely on the algorithm to push it to people who should see this because it is good at doing that, but you also put a little bit of paid ad spend to get it out to more eyeballs, to guarantee that with the right targeting, to make sure that this correct B2B people see it. Then number two is you give value, you create materials, you give value whereby people can jump on. Even like maybe, I don't know, a consultation with you, that could be a good one. That could be super valuable, but that also they're exchanging their time for that. So it might not be the best, but usually quick resources that people can take and people can get instant value from is the best way to just start building that goodwill. And doing this, that's the two things you need to do over a long time horizon, over the next 3 to 6 months. And that's where everyone in your industry will know PepMD. So before they even jump on a sales call with you, I know it's a nonprofit, but before they jump on a sales call with you to, be a part of that, to be, pay that $3,000 and be, have that credential, they would have seen PepMD a couple of times, whether they've seen your face, whether they've seen the logo, and whether they've already consumed your content and gotten value from you. That call you have with them, where you convert them, will be kind of like the fifth time they see it. And at that point, they already trust you.
Got it. So it's just continuing to, so it's at the end of the day, it's a volume play.
Two things, yeah, volume and quality. Of course, you don't want to just go volume and sacrifice quality. There's a balance there. But recap back to where you are now. You're 0 to 1. You will learn more. You will learn more by doing more volleys at this stage, which is why I'm not telling you like try and make it better and this and that. Of course, you're contacting me, which is great because you're obviously taking this seriously and you want to make better content as well. But what you're doing right now in terms of the volume is great. Keep doing that. And then we look at different ways we can actually increase the quality as well. And then that's where you have these little experiments. Soon, after 2 months of doing this, you'll find certain formats that work super well for you and that are easy to create. And then by that time, you have a content engine. And then certain pieces of content that perform really well, you can run them as ads and you can push ad spend behind them to start to generate leads. And also, you can also, I said, have that resource. I see you have a site authorization review. I'm assuming that's a little bit of like maybe a lead magnet. You can have that as something which you also push out in exchange for lead information.